Yeat. In this video, I will show you how to go from this to this. I won't make a long intro explaining who Yeat is, because chances are you're most likely familiar with Yeat already if you spent even a minute on TikTok or are a fan of Minions. So let's get right into the beat. Important thing to note for rage wave beats, and more specifically Yeat beats, you need electronic synths, something that sounds out of an NES or SNES era, but nothing too crazy, distorted 808s, and standard trap drums. And you're gonna need a Bible for all the church bells we're gonna use. Yeat beats usually have a BPM of around 140 to 150 BPM, and for this we'll go dead center and choose 145, and we'll be staying in the C minor scale. So let's jump into it. Rage wave beats are pretty much just like intro trap beats in terms of music theory. All you need to know is this chord progression, and that's it. It's a 5th minor to a 6th major to a 4th minor. That's it. It's very popular amongst other trap artists like Travis Scott and Young Thug, and it's just a very common trap progression. And it sounds something like this. You don't even have to have it as a chord progression. Here I have it as the root of the chord plus the 5th. So if you don't know what that means, just count from your root note, just count 7 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bam. That's your 5th. Enough of that nerd shit, let's get back into making trap beats. For the main patch, we're gonna use Surge XT, which is a free plugin. And this is such a goated plugin, I've included in one of my tier lists. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you can go and check it out. So to make this patch from the default patch, all you have to do is adjust the shape of the oscillator here. You need to adjust the width 1 and width 2, and then just adjust the unison detune and voices settings like this. You go from this, sounds boring, to this. Now we're talking Yeat. Now next up we have Vital. All I've done is adjust the pitch here up 12, or you can just play higher notes. I was just lazy. And then 3 voices, and I'm using the pulse width and the frame settings to about 100. So together. Now for the melody. For these beats, you don't really want to stack too many melodies and counter melodies, so you need to make sure that the artist doesn't have too many things clashing with him. At most, go 1 melody, 1 counter melody, and some chords. That's it. For example, this beat doesn't even have a counter melody. So for this, I've gone with FL Slayer, just because it's the nastiest sound you can get that resembles kind of a guitar. Solo dynamic mode, and this is what it's going to sound like with the chords. Kind of like that Playboi Carti filthy sound. Finally, if you want to make a rage beat for Yeat, you need a bell. I got 2. First is this cashmere bell. Every, I think, 8 bars, we have another church bell that acts as an effect. A Yeat beat usually follows a very formulaic trap drum formula. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just go with something standard. For this, I'm just using decap drums. You can't go wrong with them. So we have a hi-hat, another hat for rolls, snare, 808. I'll show you the effects later. And then a kick. That's it. So it's going to sound something like this. For the kick, all I've done is add Cymatics Diablo Light, which is a nice trick. You just adjust the punch. I haven't touched any other settings. It just makes it really punchy. Okay, for the 808, using this Destructor preset, I've adjusted it, and also I'm only using it at about 25% wet. And then Pro Q3, I'm just cutting out the low end because it's a bit too much. So now with the drums, it's gonna sound something like this. All we have for the effects is just a riser for the drop. And then I've also made a riser from an 808. The way you do this is just go here on the magnet and then choose 1/6 of a step. Use the paintbrush tool, paint them like that. And then all you have to do is just make the velocity curve up. Sounds pretty dope. Make sure you have the 808 cut itself. Otherwise, it's just gonna stack up and it's gonna be disgusting. Finally, to make like a hard ass intro for the song, here's what you do. You export a main section of the beat. So let's say I want to grab these 4 bars here. Make sure they're 4. Export it as WAV. When you import the intro back into the track, make sure it's stretched to 4 bars, and then it's on resample. And then all you have to do is create an automation clip for your tempo. So it goes from half tempo, so 72.5 to 145, and this is how it's gonna sound like. So this is pretty much everything you need to make a dope rage wave beat. Keep it simple, just because the main appeal of this genre is simple but catchy melodies and also hard ass drums, while the artist does their thing. So yep, that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna leave you with the end result. Let me know if you enjoyed the beat down below. Subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. I'll see you in the next one.